There was once a man who ruled the most powerful empire in the world, yet he faced daily betrayal, deceit, and envy. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, wrote in his private journal, "When you wake up in the morning, expect to meet selfish, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and unsocial people." But did he let their poison seep into his soul? No. He mastered the one thing they could never touch, his own mind. Now, think about the last time someone's negativity ruined your mood. Was it their words, or was it your reaction that truly hurt you? Today, we uncover not just how to handle toxic people, but how to rise above them, unshaken, untouchable, and in full command of our own peace. We walk through life believing that the storms around us determine the peace within us, that if someone lashes out, we must respond in kind, that if they bring chaos, we must engage. But the truth is, their actions are never ours to control. Only our reactions belong to us. Epictetus, a man born into slavery who became one of the greatest philosophers of all time, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And yet, in the modern world, we allow a stranger's rudeness to ruin our day. We let a co-worker's jealousy fester in our minds. We give toxic people the power to pull the strings of our emotions as if we were mere puppets. Why? Because we forget that the mind is our last kingdom, and no one should be allowed to rule it but us. Think about the last time someone provoked you. Did your anger change them? Did your frustration correct their ways? Or did it simply leave you drained, carrying their poison inside you? If we are to master anything in this life, let it be ourselves. Let it be the quiet, unshaken resolve that refuses to bow to the winds of others' cruelty. We do not control the storm, but we decide whether to dance in the rain or curse the sky, and that choice will always be ours. There is a place within us that no one should be allowed to trespass, a sanctuary of the mind, untouched by the storms of others. Yet, how often do we leave its gates wide open, letting the bitterness, envy, and anger of the world seep in? We surrender our peace too easily, handing it over to those who never earned it, as if it were theirs to claim. But peace is not a gift given, it is a fortress built. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire, yet sought mastery over himself, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." In today's world, distractions are endless, and toxicity is disguised as entertainment, gossip, and fleeting validation. We scroll through screens, absorbing the anxieties of strangers, allow others' words to dictate our mood, and let fleeting emotions build walls within us that were never meant to stand. But if we are wise, we do not let just anyone walk into the halls of our inner world. A fortress does not lower its gates for every passerby. It does not crumble at the first sign of conflict. It stands, unshaken, guarded by the discipline of its keepers. We must be those keepers. Let the world rage outside if it must, but within there must be stillness, because no one, no matter how cruel, no matter how loud, deserves the key to a mind that belongs only to us. When faced with betrayal, cruelty, or manipulation, the instinct is to strike back, to let the fire of our anger consume everything in its path. But in the end, who suffers more? The one who burns, or the one who learns to walk through the fire untouched? We are not here to be ruled by the chaos of others. We are here to master ourselves. Epictetus once said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." How often do we let someone else pull the strings of our emotions, dictating our reactions as if we are puppets in their theater? In the modern world, where outrage is currency and conflict is entertainment, detachment is power. It is the refusal to be consumed by another's storm. It is seeing their anger, their bitterness, their games, and choosing not to play. Detachment is not weakness. It is not cold indifference. It is knowing when engagement is futile and when silence is the greatest answer. It is walking away without needing the last word, without seeking validation, without carrying their poison within us. When we detach, we do not lose, we win. Because the true battle was never about them. It was always about whether we would surrender control of ourselves. And we will not. We will stand unshaken, unmoved, beyond the reach of their destruction. We waste precious time in lamenting the cruelty of others, drowning in the injustice of their words and actions. But tell me, has a single complaint ever altered the past? Has a single grievance ever tamed the nature of a venomous soul? No. The world does not bend for our suffering. It does not pause to console us. And so we must decide. Do we remain prisoners of what we cannot change, or do we seize the power that is still within our grasp? Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The weak rage against the storm, cursing the wind, resenting the cold. The strong build shelter, light a fire, and endure. We must be among the strong. When we shift our focus from what others have done to us to what we can do for ourselves, we step out of the role of the victim and into the role of the master. In this modern world, complaints spread like wildfire, online in whispers, in the depths of our minds where they take root like weeds. But we are not here to let weeds grow unchecked. We are here to plant discipline, to cultivate resilience. Each moment spent complaining is a moment lost in weakness. Each moment spent acting in control is a moment won in strength. So let them be as they are. We will not waste our breath on what we cannot change. We will become architects of what we can. Doubt is a shadow that follows all who dare to step beyond the ordinary. When we set out on a path that others fear to walk, skepticism greets us like a cold wind, whispering that we are not strong enough, not wise enough, not capable enough. But what if, instead of shying away, we let that doubt stoke the fire within us? What if every word of disbelief became fuel for our resolve? Epictetus reminds us, how long will you wait before you demand the best of yourself? Let them doubt us, let them smirk, question and dismiss. Their words are not chains unless we accept them as such. The world has always belonged to those who refuse to be defined by its expectations. Every great mind, every force of change was once met with resistance, not because they were wrong, but because they challenged the comfort of mediocrity. In a world where comfort is king, conviction is rebellion. Those who doubt us do not see what we see. They do not carry our vision, our hunger, our fire. But their disbelief is a gift. It sharpens our focus, strengthens our endurance, forces us to prove not to them, but to ourselves, that we are more than the limits they set for us. So let them doubt. Let them watch. We will rise, not despite their skepticism, but because of it. The fire burns brightest in the face of the coldest winds. Not all smiles are kind, and not all words of praise are sincere. There exists a subtle poison in the world, one that does not strike with open hostility but seeps in through false warmth, empty compliments and deceptive camaraderie. We have all encountered it, the handshake that lingers too long, the praise that carries an undertone of mockery, the friend who smiles to our face yet sharpens a dagger behind our back. It is a quiet form of deceit, and if we do not recognize it, we invite it into our lives like a welcomed guest. Seneca warned us, a sword never kills anybody, it is a tool in the killer's hand. The same is true for words. Flattery, false concern, and feigned loyalty are not kindness. They are weapons, wielded by those who seek to manipulate rather than uplift. The wise do not let their guard down simply because the words they hear are pleasing. We must listen not just with our ears, but with our instinct. Observe actions, not just intentions spoken into the air. The world is filled with those who disguise their envy as encouragement, who mask their malice with politeness. But we are not here to be deceived. We are here to see clearly, to move with purpose, and to build a life fortified against the illusions of false friendships. A sincere enemy is less dangerous than a deceptive ally. Let us walk forward, eyes open, and refuse to be lulled by the sweetness of a poisoned cup. There will always be those who provoke, insult, or seek to pull us into the depths of their own misery. It is easy, too easy, to let anger take hold, to feel the fire rising in our chest demanding retaliation. But what does anger accomplish? What do we gain by throwing ourselves into the chaos others create? We burn our own peace in the flames of our fury. Epictetus once said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." And yet, how often do we willingly hand over our power to those who least deserve it? There is another way. Instead of feeding our anger, we can transform it. Let every insult be fuel for progress. Let every slight be a reminder of our discipline. The energy we waste in resentment could be used to sharpen our minds, to build, to create, to push forward. We are not here to be controlled by fleeting emotions, nor to be puppets in someone else's drama. The modern world is full of distractions designed to enrage us. Social media arguments, petty workplace rivalries, baseless criticism from those who contribute nothing. But the wise do not engage. They do not give their fire to the wind. We hold within us the power to choose where our energy flows. And if we must burn, let it be with purpose. Let us forge something greater from the heat. Let us walk forward, unshaken, undistracted, refusing to be ruled by the tempers of others. The world often tells us that strength means standing alone, that the unshaken man is the one who needs no one. But this is a lie, one that isolates us, weakens us, and keeps us from becoming what we are meant to be. Even the strongest tree does not stand against the storm alone. Its roots intertwine with those of others, its strength drawn not just from itself, but from the earth that holds it firm. Seneca once wrote, "Man is a social animal. Life without a friend is death without a witness." To believe we must carry every burden alone is not strength, it is arrogance disguised as resilience. The modern world pushes the illusion of independence, convincing us that self-reliance means shutting others out. But the truth is, the greatest warriors fought alongside their brothers, the greatest minds stood on the shoulders of those who came before them, and the greatest leaders were never alone in the shadows of their struggles. It is not weakness to seek support, it is wisdom. The toxic voices of the world can be deafening, but when we stand together, we drown them out with something stronger: understanding, wisdom, and unshakable resolve. We do not falter when we lean on those who uplift us. We do not break when we find strength in the hands that reach for ours. Alone we are vulnerable, together we are unbreakable. Let us never mistake solitude for power, nor pride for strength. We will meet many who test us, those who insult, deceive, manipulate, or betray. The weak among us will curse their existence, drown in frustration, and wish the world were different. But we are not here to be weak. We are here to rise, to take even the poison they offer and turn it into strength. As Epictetus said, "What ought one to say then as each hardship comes? I was practicing for this, I was training for this." Every negative interaction is a lesson in disguise, a sharpening stone for the mind, a challenge for the soul to master. The modern world tempts us to play the victim, to carry resentment like a blade pressed against our own skin. But if we shift our perspective, even cruelty becomes instruction. The liar teaches us the value of truth. The betrayer reveals the cost of misplaced trust. The arrogant show us the emptiness of pride. We do not suffer these people, we study them. We do not break beneath their weight, we grow stronger lifting it. Let them speak, let them act, let them attempt to wound. In their folly, they gift us something they do not understand: wisdom. Every storm carves deeper resilience, every fire hardens the steel. We will not be weakened by the darkness of others. We will learn from it, rise above it, and walk forward untouched. In the end, they will be left behind while we move forward, unshaken. The world will throw its weight upon us. Words meant to wound, judgments meant to shrink us, and opinions designed to make us doubt ourselves. But these things by themselves hold no power. A blade only cuts if we press it to our skin. An insult only stings if we let it in. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth which never harmed anyone. The harm is to persist in one's self-deception and ignorance. We cannot control what others say, but we control whether we believe it. In the modern world, negativity is amplified. Social media, workplace gossip, the whispers of those too afraid to face their own insecurities. They project their fears, their failures, their limitations onto us, hoping we will carry their burdens for them. But we are not vessels for their poison. We decide what takes root in our minds. If we let every criticism, every doubt, every attack take hold within us, we become our own tormentors, reliving their words long after they have forgotten them. But if we refuse, if we let their words pass through us like wind through empty halls, they become nothing. We remain whole. We remain untouchable. Their voices fade, but our strength remains. And in that silence, we stand victorious. Strength is not found in comfort. It is forged in adversity, shaped by trials, and tempered in the fires of hardship. Just as a muscle grows stronger under strain, so too does the mind. Every difficulty we endure is a weight added to our training, an opportunity to build resilience that no force can break. Epictetus said, "Difficulties show a person's character." So when trouble comes, think of yourself as a wrestler whom God has matched against a tough opponent. Why? So you may become a champion. The modern world sells the illusion of ease, the promise that life should be smooth, that struggle is failure. But this is a lie that weakens us. Every rejection, every betrayal, every moment of doubt is not an end. It is training. The strongest minds are not those that have never fallen, but those that have risen time and time again. A broken heart teaches us endurance. A setback forces us to adapt. A harsh word teaches us to control our reactions. Each challenge is a test, and with every test passed, we fortify our inner citadel. When we stop fearing hardship, we begin to master it. When we stop resisting discomfort, we use it to grow. The world will not go easy on us, but we do not need it to. We welcome the struggle, knowing it does not weaken us, it sharpens us. And when the storm comes, we do not break, we stand. Life does not wait for us to be ready. It throws its challenges without warning, demanding we either rise or fall. But what if every difficulty we face is not an obstacle, but a lesson? What if every hardship is training, sharpening us for the greater battles yet to come? Seneca once wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The struggles of today are not meant to break us, they are conditioning us for tomorrow. Too often we curse our misfortunes, seeing them as burdens rather than opportunities. A betrayal teaches us who is truly by our side. A failure teaches us where we must grow. A loss teaches us the depths of our own endurance. The world will not pause for our suffering, and it will not grant us peace simply because we wish for it. But if we learn to embrace each challenge as preparation, we shift from victims of circumstance to warriors in training. Modern life encourages avoidance, avoiding pain, avoiding discomfort, avoiding anything that does not come easily. But avoidance makes us weak. True strength is built through struggle, through facing what we fear and emerging on the other side. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The hardships we endure now are the foundation of the unshakable force we are becoming. And when the real storm arrives, we will not falter. We will already be ready. Not every battle is worth fighting, and not every presence in our lives deserves a permanent place. Yet, we hesitate. We hold on not out of necessity, but out of guilt, the weight of expectations, the fear of disappointing others, the discomfort of letting go. But Epictetus warned us, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. And so we must ask ourselves, is this path strengthening us, or is it simply draining us? Modern life glorifies endurance, but endurance without wisdom is self-destruction. We are not bound to tolerate toxicity, to justify mistreatment, to exhaust ourselves proving our worth to those who refuse to see it. Walking away is not weakness, it is mastery over our own energy. The world will tell us that leaving is selfish, that setting boundaries is cruel, that self-preservation is abandonment, but what is truly selfish is expecting someone to stay in a place that is breaking them. A sinking ship does not ask permission to reach for the shore, nor does a warrior apologize for stepping back from an unwinnable fight. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." There is no guilt in reclaiming our peace, no shame in refusing to be consumed by another's chaos. We walk away not because we are weak, but because we are wise enough to know when staying is no longer an option. The world will test us. People will lie, betray, disappoint, and provoke. They will act in ways beyond our understanding, beyond our control, and yet we waste our energy trying to change them, arguing, pleading, expecting them to be different. But what is expectation but a silent contract we have forced upon another? And what is frustration but the realization that they never agreed to it? Epictetus reminds us, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. The only thing within our power is ourselves, our thoughts, our actions, our responses. We cannot control the storm, but we can control how we stand in the rain. We cannot change the nature of others, but we can refuse to let them pull us into their chaos. In the modern world, control is an illusion that many chase, but few understand. We try to mold people, to shape outcomes, to force reality into submission. But reality bends to no one. A mind fixated on controlling the external will forever be restless, tormented by the unpredictable nature of others. True power lies in mastering the self, in learning to detach from what is beyond us, in choosing peace over provocation, discipline over reaction. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And so, we reclaim our strength, not by bending the world to our will, but by mastering the only thing that was ever truly ours.